I'm Cadet Ramosi. This is Cadet Harrison. Today, he's going to be taking the PFA. First thing you should have is a clipboard.
This is your AFROTC Physical Fitness Test Score Sheet, also known as the AFROTC Form 30. All of your scores for your physical fitness assessment are going to be recorded on this sheet, so it must be filled out correctly. If you look at the first box on the sheet, at the top of the sheet, you have many different physical fitness assessments that you can sign up for. In this particular case, just circle PFA. In box 2, put your name, last name first, then first name, and your middle initial. In box 3, put your detachment number. In box 4, put your age. And in box 5, circle your gender. Go over to box 6 and have your spotter put his name in the same fashion that you put your name. Skip boxes 7 through 9 for now. We'll get back to that later. Move on to box 10, which is directly below, and sign and date it. By signing this, you are verifying that you are physically and mentally able to take the PFA. You know what's going to happen in the PFA, and you understand that you have to reach a minimum composite score of 75 in order to pass. The push-up is one assessment of muscular fitness for the upper body. Your hands will be placed on the floor, slightly wider than shoulder width apart, with your fingers pointing forward. You must lower your upper body until your upper arm is at least parallel to the floor and your elbows are bent 90 degrees before pushing back up to the starting position. If you do not come that far down, the push-up will not count. Start in the up position with your elbows fully extended and your feet no more than 12 inches apart. Your weight should be supported by your arms and your toes. You must keep your back straight at all times and lower your upper body until your upper arm is at least parallel to the floor. Then return to the up position with your arms fully extended. This is 1 repetition. Keep your hands and feet on the floor if you need to rest. Any resting must be done in the up position. Your breathing should be as normal as possible. Make sure you do not hold your breath. It is recommended that you exhale every time you press up and inhale every time you come down. You have 1 minute to perform as many push-ups as you are able. The correct number of push-ups will be counted out loud. Incorrect push-ups will not be counted, and the number of the last correct push-up will be repeated.
And as a spotter, I'm going to keep counting the same push-up over and over and over again until he starts doing them correctly. As soon as he starts doing them correctly, if at any point in time he decides that he's going to take one of his hands off the track, he's disqualified. Or maybe he wants to take his foot off the track, he's disqualified. And if at any point in time he wants to rest in anything but the up position, he's disqualified. So as a spotter, I have to make sure that he's got the proper form and he's not doing anything that will disqualify him. As soon as you're finished, make sure you record his final score after the 60 seconds is up in the proper column. Make sure it's the number of push-ups, not the score.
This test measures your abdominal muscular endurance. Please lie on your back with your heels flat on the floor, knees bent at a 90-degree angle, and your arms crossed in front of your chest, such that your hands and fingers remain in contact with your shoulders or chest. Your feet will be held down with your monitor's hands. Your legs cannot be held behind your calves. Let your monitor know if you need your feet held differently prior to the beginning of the assessment. Your hips must remain on the floor at all times. Your shoulder blades must touch the floor between each repetition. In the up position, you will touch your elbows to your knees or upper thigh and then return down until your shoulder blades touch the floor. During this exercise, your hands may not lose contact with your shoulders or chest at any time. If this is performed correctly, it will count as 1 crunch. Your breathing should be as normal as possible. Please make sure you do not hold your breath. It is recommended that you exhale every time you come up and inhale when you come down. You have 1 minute to perform as many correct crunches as possible. Any resting must be done in the up position. The correct number of crunches will be counted out loud. Incorrect crunches will not be counted, and the number of the last correct crunch will be repeated, and you will be told what you're doing wrong until you correct the error. Your score will be the total number of correct crunches completed in 1 minute.
When your partner's done doing the sit-ups, make sure that you record the number of repetitions in the proper column, not the score. We're about to do the 1.5 miles, the PFA. As you can see, if you look down here, the 1.5 miles starts on these yellow hash marks.
The yellow hash marks are marked by 100 high. The USF track is a 400-meter track, so in order to achieve the 1.5 miles, we need to run 6 laps plus 46 feet. The finish line is marked 46 feet later by yellow diamonds. The 1.5 mile timed run is an aerobic fitness test used to predict your VO2 max. You'll be directed to line up behind the starting line and instructed to begin running as the monitor starts the stopwatch. No physical assistance from anyone or anything is permitted. However, pacing is permitted if there is no physical contact and is not a hindrance to other runners. You are required to stay on the course and complete the entire marked course. Leaving the course is disqualifying. If at any time you are feeling of poor health, you are to stop running immediately, and you will be given assistance. Your completion time will be recorded when you cross the finish line. At the completion of the timed run, you must complete a cool down for approximately 5 minutes.
For the 1.5 miles, in order to be a good spotter, I have to keep split times. So every time Cadet Harrison passes that finish line, I have to take a split. I'm going to have a total of 6 split times, and it's going to be on the bottom right-hand corner of your PFA sheet as soon as you're done. Then you'll have his final time. As soon as your partners finish the PFA, and before they go to get their height and weight taken, make sure you finish the most important part of the form, and that's right here, on the bottom of the form. This is where you both sign it to validate the scores that are on the sheet. Without these two things signed, the scores don't matter, and you have to take the PFA all over again.
This video should have answered all your questions about taking the AFROTC Physical Fitness Assessment. Now you're ready to take the PFA. Remember, your goal is not just to pass, excellence in all we do. So let's see how many max scores you can get with all your hard work. Spotters, make sure you stay with your test takers until they're done taking their waist measurements. After that, the test takers will go and get their height and weight.